Well, that was a lot of fun to watch. How good was Jake Odorizzi?
Yeah, it was a fun night at the park. I don't know how many people were here, but they got into it as the innings came and went, and zeros kept going up there. He was good. He just had a good mix. He had to work a lot early. Pitches were up rather quickly. But then he got a couple innings where they were a little more economical. It was just fun to watch it build. Severino was really good too. He could have just easily been matched in the no-hitter there, except for Joe's leadoff single, until we put together, strung some hits together to get a run on the board. But it was a good kind of stress for me trying to negotiate with Jake in between innings, and no one wants to see anybody get hurt. But he's a veteran. I think he said he felt great, and I knew that he would be smart about going about just trying to find ways to take it a pitch at a time and a hitter at a time. We were kind of doing that after 6, and he made it exciting. So game was a little too close for comfort at the end. Big league save for Hildy. I mean, to come in after the no-hitter and the emotion and have to face that part of the lineup and get 4 outs. Roger with another big, really good win, and I'm sure Jake feels awfully good about posting that type of outing.
So do you and Jake have continual conversations and on the same page about if there is a hit, that's the answer?
Yeah, I told him, I said, hey, this is one of those rare nights when you get into this type of area in terms of doing something that was magical, and you just try to do the best you can and trust that he was going to make a good decision for himself and not get too caught up. Sometimes you have to do it for him, but I thought he was in a good place. The pitches still looked relatively sharp throughout, 115 or whatever he ended up. I know it was getting up there. You worry about, worst case scenario there, he walks a couple guys and there's no hits and he's got Bird and he's a tie and run. But, as it worked out, Bird got the double, but, we were in a good position to get those last outs from 2 of our hottest guys out in the pen.
What specifically did Jake have working tonight, particularly against the guys in the middle of the lineup?
I would think he'd tell you it was a mix. Obviously the splitter is always going to be there, and the fastball being able to elevate it. And I thought he got a lot of swings and misses on a slider cutter tonight too. Some almost looked like they were somewhat of a mistake in terms of they kind of kept their elevation, but guys were a little fooled and deceived by that pitch. I think it was just a combination of him trusting all 3, mixing a couple slow curves too, but it was more the fastball split mixing in that slider.
And you mentioned Severino was effective early on too. What was he doing tonight?
It was early in the game, and you can't help but hear about the struggles that he has, and then you look at his numbers for the year. And I think a lot of people would trade in for that kind of performance, and he was sharp. Velocity was there, and slider was disappearing. The changeup was getting outs. He uses off speed a lot more than you would think for a guy who throws that hard. And I think especially with young hitters, you're so geared to hit the velocity that you're being taken advantage somewhat by the fact he's getting you out on that slider and changeup quite a bit.